2, 1. All right. Okay. We're playing Anchorhead again. You guys know the score. I got chords to worry about, and we last time we dug around in the house. We got into a crypt. We talked to the drunken obstetrician, and we learned horrible secrets. Then we went to the Hall of Records in the courthouse and learned some more mundane secrets, which were that each Verlac was born on the day that the previous Verlac died, or like the day after. Hey!
But we have not derived any further implications from this.
No.
We have not had any horrific realizations.
No. I mean, we can infer some horrific realizations. But, right. Hamish? Are you there? Oh, we can't hear you. Or wait, maybe we can.
Hang on, just a second.
Oh, I can understand you now.
I have to turn something off.
Emily, have you played Anchorhead before?
Yes, but a long time ago.
Good. That's the experience that most of us have had. We are looking at the town square right now. If we look, the bridge is to the north. The avenues go east and west. There's an alley to the southwest, and the courthouse is south, where we just were. I think by looking up that information in the courthouse, we got all the necessary information out of it, but I'm not sure. I went down the south alley, and it said, "This is a featureless blind alley, a dead end. Through the narrow and heavily shadowed opening to the northeast, you can see the square and the obelisk at its center. So this alley doesn't do anything. And if you go west, because east is back to the house, west is a dark corner. The rooftops above you lean so close together as to nearly block out the sky altogether. Bad writing. Don't say together too many times. Making this a particularly dark and unpleasant section of the city. The street leads away to the east, and a shadowy driveway leads through a high brick wall to the south. And I saw this high brick wall while the others were in the courthouse, and I decided not to go down it, so I'm not sure where it leads.
Wait. Where are you?
I'm going to leave my camera focused on Sam, because there's a cat.
Yes, I have picturesque interest. I should really have arranged subject matter in a classical pyramid formation or something.
I think it works the way it is. There's lines of influence.
Yeah, there's sort of a tripartite, perspective thing going on.
Yeah. So are you guys ready to go south from this alley?
Sure. Wait, where's the alley again? Southwest?
It's west from the town square.
Okay, dark corner.
Dark corner is what I'd call it.
Asylum courtyard.
Oh.
That's never good. The grim, whitewashed edifice of Danvers Asylum bounds this tiny shadowed courtyard to the south. Its narrow, barred windows staring blankly down at you, like the like ranks of shriveled, empty eye sockets. You can escape through a narrow gateway in the high brick wall to the north. So, old school mental health care.
Uh-huh.
I would like
Shriveled.
to object that if the windows are barred, they're not empty eye sockets.
They're
Yes.
shriveled. The bars are like the wrinkles on the eyelids as they have shriveled into the. Okay,
You're reaching.
I'm reaching.
I'm going to serve the role of the peanut gallery in this, evidently.
Boo!
So I
Oh,
was gonna be like eyelashes.
so I examined the windows, and it gave me a description that I can't see how it has anything to do with the windows. This must be just for examining asylum. The whole place exudes a sense of oppressive claustrophobia. Standing in its shadow for even a second is enough to make your skin crawl. Even the seemingly innocuous motto emblazoned over the main entrance fills you with an inexplicable sense of foreboding. That motto is health, discipline, tranquility, emblazoned in an arch over the double snake symbol of a caduceus. Somehow you are not reassured.
So, metagame, my recollection is that the asylum is not important until quite late.
I think you're right. And I really doubt we could get in there right now. Oh, we can go in the waiting room.
Nope. Yeah.
I went south.
Waiting room. Ugly, mint green tiles and walls of whitewashed cinder block comprise the decor of this inhospitable waiting room. A hard little sofa upholstered in avocado vinyl, a feebly struggling potted palm, provided for the comfort of visitors, although you get the feeling that few inmates of the institution are fortunate enough to have visitors. A metal gate bars entrance to a southern passageway, which you assume leads to the inmates section. The exit lies north. An orderly sits by the gate, leisurely perusing a pornographic magazine. A large key dangles from the orderly's belt, or perhaps he's just happy to see us.
The pockmarked and overweight orderly is absorbed in his magazine, which is just as well since it's kept him from turning his leering attentions to you. He occasionally pauses to tweak a swollen black head on the back of his neck, or to mutter some crass observation about one of the women in his magazine. There's a name tag pinned to his expansive chest. The orderly honks loudly into a handkerchief, pauses to take a quick peek at the goods, then stuffs the rag back into his pocket.
So, a
What a
sympathetic...
lovely thing.
I tried.
Also, the name tag reads Chuck, just in case there was any ambiguity about the trope he represents.
I asked the orderly about me. The orderly wiggled his eyebrows at you in a way that makes you slightly ill. Well, I don't really know you all that well, he says, but I'd like to. So, apparently this guy, I don't remember this guy being all that well implemented. Ask orderly about Anchorhead. Why not? What about it? It's in dump. I'm not gonna say that curse word. I can't wait to blow this town and all the inbred freaks living in it.
Ask orderly about orderly. The orderly leers at you. If I get off later this evening... I get off later this evening if you want to get to know me better.
Ask orderly about asylum. Listen, I just work here, lady.
Okay, so dedicated service of the people. Excellent. I suspect we're not going to get anything out of Chuck. Anything you want.
Orderly about. Which do you mean? The keys? The small copper key or the large cell key? He says it's responsibility. Don't you touch it. Oh, the small copper key is the key that we got. We should put copper key on keychain. so that we have a...
Key
take...
ring, not keychain.
Oh, okay.
Still can't see. Why can't I see any such thing? I don't have a copper key. Why didn't I have a copper key?
It's in your pockets. Put copper key on key ring.
Do I have the right save? There is no copper key in my pockets.
No, I don't have one either.
Yeah, me either.
Maybe we got it from the drunk guy though. Unless...
No, I have it.
Okay, I'm gonna go... Okay, take...
We also still have the flask.
Does the flask have any drink in it?
It doesn't. It's empty.
Okay. Wait. Show skull to man. I have no idea what... When we played yesterday, we were able to get the key off of the guy.
Right. That's like Apple.
Didn't you just save right now, Ryan, and give him that save?
I don't have it though. I'm in the same problem he's in.
Oh.
Where, yeah.
Did we lose the copper key when we got into crypt or something? No, the copper key was the last thing he gave us, right?
Yeah. The man still has the copper key.
He does?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have to ask him about something or do something to him. Oh, wait.
Oh, did you give him the charm?
No, we didn't give him the charm.
Okay, that's why we don't have the copper key.
We never got the key. I misremembered. But that's weird that you... I guess that makes sense that you can ask the orderly about the copper key without owning the copper key.
Okay.
So... Oh, wait. Alright. So, we'll come back to that man later. We'll come back to the orderly even later. The charm, spoiler alert, you get the key from the drunk guy by giving him a charm. The charm, I assume, is somewhere on the north side of the bridge because we've done everything we can on the south side of the bridge.
So how extensively have you searched the house?
I think we searched it fairly extensively. If there's a charm in that house, then we didn't find it, though.
How about we split up and go and search the house independently and... Oh!
Okay.
Aha! I've discovered something which you have not previously got. A very important type. So go southeast from the vacant lot.
Okay.
Wharf. The gentle creaking of hawsers and the hollow slap of water beneath the wooden pier provide a faint counterpoint to the endless rhythmic surging of the sea. The fishing industry, like the paper industry, has all but died away in Anchorhead. Nonetheless, there are still a few boats sighted here. Path leads back through an opening in a chain-link fence to the northwest. Otherwise, it's just you and the ocean. An old, discarded tin of fish oil sits at the end of the pier. Oh, old, discarded tin of fish oil. We were meant for one another.
So I'm taking your word for it that this is very important.
It's not so much important as just what memorable as one of the more disgusting items you carry around.
Okay.
You pick up the old tin. It's dented and rusty. You can barely make out the words Skagen, Denmark, printed along the side. The lid is closed.
I almost feel like we're not supposed to open it yet. Maybe I'm being too paranoid.
You open the old tin, revealing a smelly quantity of fish oil.
The response to smell it is just, phew!
Oh, close it. Okay, it does make you close the old tin before you slip it into the pocket of your trench coat.
Okay.
Because, thank God.
We're still carrying a broom. I just realized. We will have that broom until we die.
Will we put it in our pockets?
It won't fit in your pockets. In a nod to realism,
Deep
the
though
broom,
they are.
Sorry, I think I might be a little bit lost.
So were you going to search the house? Oh, hey. Are you playing from the Owly link that was in the chat?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. You probably don't have the map in your head as well as we do, though.
Can you return to the vacant lot?
I am currently in the waiting room, and yeah, I don't really know the area, so I got a bit lost. So I might just sit back and watch what happens for a bit, if that's okay.
Alright, I think it's like north, east, southeast, but whatever suits you best.
Alright, I'll give that a try.
It's north, north, east, east, southeast.
Okay.
Oh, yep, okay.
Meanwhile, Kiss Man, can you just give him a quarter or something?
The east to west, west.
So is our current plan to return to the house and poke around and see if we can find anything?
That's your plan, while I head north to look in the north.
Okay, so we are splitting up and seeing what we can find, since that is the general gist of the game.
Right.
And we will holler if we find anything exciting.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm up at the Mill Road, which is across a desolate heath of gray windswept grass. To the south, the black, jagged outline of Anchorhead's steep roofs and sharp-leaning gables cuts across the horizon. The road forks here to the west and east, heading across the railroad tracks in one direction, out toward the seashore in the other. I'm going to go over to the railroad tracks because I remember them very well, but I went the wrong way. Okay. Entrance to the paper mill. There's a paper mill. Oh, let's go the other way instead. In honor of Zach, who isn't here, I'm going to go look at the lighthouse. At the foot of the lighthouse, you stand in a circular clearing among the stones, like Stonehenge, surrounded on nearly every side by the sea, like Anchorhead. Before you looms the ancient massive lighthouse, a vertiginous pillar of pale brick jabbing defiantly up at the sky. The road from the southeast ends here, although it looks as though you could pick your way down the rocks to the southeast, around the structure's base. The great bronze door of the lighthouse is closed. Well, I don't have a bronze key. Going southeast down around the lighthouse, there's a rocky spur where the hungry sea laps at my feet, surging over the rocks and then trickling down into crevices. To the southwest, south. I just went southeast, so I guess that makes sense. Beyond the breakwater's tip, a turbulent patch of water bubbles and seethes as if something were lurking just beneath the surface, turning perhaps in uneasy sleep. It looks unnatural.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I wandered into a twisting lane in the northwest of the town, where my progress is blocked at the top of the street by a blank brick wall. But, odd, the wall is no longer blank. Someone has sprayed graffiti across it. It's a strange design done in black spray paint, an upturned hand with an irregular triangle inscribed in the palm. Beneath it is drawn an arrow pointing roughly west, and following it with your gaze, you realize that it points directly at the narrow aperture of a side street you'd never noticed before.
This seems like it might be plot relevant, in that there's a giant flashing neon arrow above the place the author wants us to go.
Well, this lighthouse is creepier, but not as interesting. So I'm going to see if I can get to the same place that you're at, twisting northwest.
If you're on Whiteley Bridge, then it's northwest.
Okay. Yeah, I got there.
Hidden Court. You had no idea this little courtyard even existed, cleverly tucked away amidst the confusing tangle of darker avenues. Although surrounded on all sides by steep rooftops and overshadowed by the ever-ominous clouds, this secluded circle somehow manages to convey a sense of peace and brightness, a safe harbour from the oppressive gloom pervading the rest of the town. To the south, a hanging sign marks a humble shop, while a side street to the east leads back into the labyrinth.
Excellent. I've been meaning to stock up on humbles.
Did you have that ready?
No. It's just all me, man.
Wow.
It's a little curiosities shop nestled into a corner of the courtyard. A silvery bell jingles as you open the door. The cauldron. A warm and pleasantly dim light surrounds you and suffuses this cozy little shop. The shelves are crammed with every conceivable variety of New Age curiosity: books, crystals, pendants, charms, herbs, potions, incense, candles, and, sure enough, on a display stand right near the door, decorative cast-iron cauldron-shaped paperweights. How cute! In the rear of the store, a lit display case contains several items of interest. The courtyard lies outside to the north. On the display case is a violin. The proprietor watches you quietly from behind the display case.
So I'm trying to buy the stuff, the paperweights and the pokey pendants, but it's like, you don't want to buy any of this.
Yes, I do.
Can you try and steal
The violin.
The
violin
oh, yeah?
is a gorgeous instrument. The wood is a rich, polished mahogany, the scroll and fingerboard gleaming ebony. Strings almost seem to vibrate of their own accord, as if aching to be played.
I don't have a bow.
Play violin. It belongs to the proprietor, and besides, you don't know how to play it.
Ex-proprietor. A fabulously thick and bushy tangle of moustache, beard and eyebrows frame the portly old proprietor's deeply seamed face. His eyes are kind, however, and his smile warm and ingenuous, as he seems content to watch you quietly with his hands folded across his considerable paunch as you browse through his shop.
Oh, he's clearly from Texas and
I
not
feel he needs a fight.
New England.
I feel that he needs to be... Well, hello there, little lady. What can I do you for?
If you ask him about the violin, "Oh, that was a gift," he says. His eyes are far away and sad for a moment. "A gift from a very old friend."
Ask proprietor about Verlac. The proprietor takes a deep breath and pauses for a moment before replying. Now there, he says slowly, is a family from which no good ever came, nor will it ever. They're a sticky 10-year-old bunch, miss. Don't forget it. Mind you don't get caught and drawn in.
Ask him
Ask
about him.
proprietor about friend. The proprietor waves your question away lightly. "No one important," he says.
Oh. Huh. I asked him about himself. He said, "Me? Oh, I'm just a harmless old shopkeeper, a lesser charlatan. I've had this place for ... quite a while." He smiles at you in a way that is not entirely comforting. "I sell my little goods and generally try to keep an eye on things." I remember we can show him the puzzle box. If you take the puzzle box out of your pockets. Show puzzle box to man. The proprietor takes the puzzle box and turns it over in his hands carefully. "Now this is a tricky one," he says. "They don't make them like this anymore. Frightfully difficult unless you know the catch, of course." His fingers flicker dexterously over the box, sliding a panel here, pressing a corner in there. Suddenly the lid pops open with a faint click.
Ah, see, when I played this first, I did not get that solution. I got the alternative solution that you're obliged to do when the proprietor disappears on like day 4 or something. Which
And what is... Yeah?
that is to take the puzzle box and put it on the train tracks for when the train comes.
Heck yes.
Which is really
Oh
kind
no!
of a return to Zork kind of puzzle. You know, that you get this intricate puzzle box and you're like, smash!
And the opening the puzzle box gives us 2 points, and looking inside is a strange black disc. What? You've never seen a vinyl record before? You pick up the strange black disc. It's a dark, glassy circle, about the width of your hand in diameter, and half an inch thick in the middle, tapering off to thinness toward the edge, like a convex lens. Its color is the deep, oily black of obsidian, though you fancy you can see faint swirls of color inside it, like the rainbow sheen of oil on water. Its curved surface is cool and perfectly smooth. Although incredibly hard, the material does not feel like stone. There is an odd, yielding quality to it, almost like something organic. Almost, you realize with disquiet, like skin. Yeah. Lick disc. That's not a verb I recognize.
Feel disc. You feel nothing unexpected.
Wow.
Yes, disc. Try to restrain yourself.
The proprietor picks up his violin, obviously bored with your weird attention to the disc, and idly begins tuning it. After plucking out a few notes with his thumb, he sets it down again. Okay, so in the display case, there is a deck of tarot cards, a geode, and an amulet.
Ask
Rushing-
proprietor about William. Proprietor looks sad. Coffin that won't stay buried. A skeleton without a grave. Not his fault. Not his fault. He looks away and will say no more. And I can't think of anything about other names, but ask proprietor about Edward. A terrible tragedy. He visited my shop once, you know. Sold me a trinket. A nice young man, I recall, but troubled. Proprietor heaved a heavy sigh. He tried, but he simply wasn't strong enough. He did try, though, which is what matters. Children.
Uh,
I asked him about the trinket, and he said, "You know," the proprietor says, scratching his head, "I honestly don't remember what it was. I'm sure it's around here somewhere."
I asked him about the tarot cards. He said, yes, a rare piece of work. The cards are actually very delicate, thinly sliced ivory, almost transparent. The box is walnut. He leans toward you, offering you a salesman's conspiratorial wink. They say, he whispers, that this very deck was used and endorsed by the infamous medium. He frowns. Not Blavatsky, the other one. What was her name? Anyway, it is said that by shining a light through the cards and projecting the image onto a wall, you may open gateways to other worlds. Frankly, I don't buy it. That's a very funny reference for those of us who get the reference. For those of us who don't get the reference, this probably sounds like a weird clue.
I'm sure it's something to do with curses.
Yes, absolutely.
It is.
It is clearly to do with curses, which I've never played more than like half an hour into.
Oh man, that's
Ryan and I
amazing.
finished it, but we cheated really badly.
We cheated so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Ask proprietor about amulet. Now there's a fancy little thing, remarks the proprietor. A humble charm against evil. A ward against the eye, you might say. Young chap brought that in some 20 years ago. Said he had no more use for superstitious baubles. The proprietor reaches into the back of the case and takes out the amulet. It spins slowly as he holds it up to the light. I think, perhaps, that he eventually found different. And I think, perhaps, that you will too. He leans forward and, before you can react, slips the leather thong around your neck. Personal space, dude! But you won't make the same mistake, will you, miss? No, you go on and keep that now. My treat. May find it useful soon.
Ask him about Geode. "Nice, isn't it?" beams the proprietor. "I chanced upon it while rock hunting in the Cascades last summer."
Hey!
Is that a reference to curses? No.
Ah,
Bless you.
done.
Check this out. I asked him about Anchorhead. It's hard, I know, uprooting yourself and coming to a strange place. He fixes you with a knowing look. And this is indeed a strange place. But I think you'll do right by yourself and your husband, as long as you keep your wits about. How did he know we're married?
Because of our ring.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off my ring and ask and undo.
But he did
remove-
call us Miss just a moment ago.
Yeah.
That's what's called flattery.
Hey. So I was going to put my ring in my pocket to see if he'd skip saying "and your husband" if I wasn't wearing it when I asked him about Anchorhead. When I removed the ring, it said, "You slipped the plain gold band from your finger. There's no gem on this ring. Usually, you feel almost naked without your ring on, although sometimes you do find yourself taking it off briefly just to read the inscription along the inside. Engraved along the inside are Michael's and your initials along with your wedding date, June 28th.
And it's not even in Elvish. What kind of geeks even are you?
Okay, put ring in pocket. Ask man. Anchorhead. He still says, and your husband, but that's because he saw the ring on when we came in.
I think
I'm
it's just
sure.
canon geography, and like every move has been watched.
No. I'm sure if we took off the ring first move of the game
I think
and
you're
put.
really,
Small townsman.
really. You think nobody saw us let us carry the umbrella? You really think that didn't go unnoticed?
Oh, that's true. Word gets around.
They're gonna be all like, "Oh, they're stepping out together, they is."
Okay. Well, we got the horrible disc, and we got the amulet. So, I think we're supposed to give the amulet to the drunkard, even though we clearly need it to avoid being murdered by whatever comes around to murder you in Anchorhead.
Yeah,
So,
it's another point at which we, as a character, like step into a place of vulnerability.
hmm.
It's the general rule of horror that you never offer like the protagonist some place of security without undermining it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I feel like when we leave the hidden court behind,
You may not be able to get back to it.
we won't be able to get back because there's a
Hey,
magic
hang on a
courtyard.
sec.
Yes?
I asked the proprietor to play the violin. Well, I am a bit out of practice, the old man protests, but if you insist... He nestles the instrument under his chin, produces a bow from somewhere behind the display case, and lays it across the strings. The shop is filled with a haunting melody, the likes of which you have never heard. It draws you in as you listen, pulling you into fantastic visions. It is a lonely child singing beneath a sky of dying stars. It is a shimmering ribbon of colour floating through the unbroken mist. It is the last gleam of a diamond at the bottom of the ocean before it is covered by the sand. All too soon the music ends. You actually stand there for a minute more before realizing that your eyes are closed. You open them in time to see the old man put the violin back on the display case with a bashful smile.
He's so embarrassed that he keeps it in his building so he can play it for anyone who asks.
Yeah. Also because I am less pure-minded, kiss proprietor. The proprietor chuckles and holds up his hand. Thanks, but no thanks, miss. My kissing days are so long behind me, I wouldn't know what to do with a young pretty such as yourself if she came up and bit me.
Okay, so
Oh,
what happens if you
dear.
bite him? Oh, man. There's no need to resort to cannibalism.
Yes, there is. There is always a need to resort to cannibalism.
All right. Okay. So, I'm going back to the vacant lot. I'm going to give this man the amulet. Okay. Thank you kindly, miss. You're a generous one, so you are. Grins the... Oh, I thought he was going to be crying when he said this. Grins the old man as he closes his grimy fingers around the charm. And here you are, he says, tossing you the copper key. I pray it does you good. The old man staggers to his feet. I'll be getting on then, he said. If I can make away before nightfall, perhaps I'll be out of their reach before the maggots come out. He wraps the leather thong around his hand and closes the charm in his fist. He turns to you one last time. Don't let them find you, he says earnestly. Get out while you can. If you stay, they'll track you down eventually. It's the blood. He can smell it, so he can. And he always returns to his blood. He shambles off, up the river walk toward town square, his shadow dragging long behind him. Looking to the sky, you realize that the sun is nearly set. You've been talking to the old man for much longer than you thought, and it will be dark soon. Your score has just gone up by 5 points. We need to get back to the house before the Dementors come out.
No, thank you.
We have so far scored 27 out of a possible 100 points. We have stumbled onto a conspiracy of monstrous horror.
Okay. I went up to the house. I get in the house. You call out to let Michael know you're home, but no one answers. The house is still, hushed. An eerie prickling walks up your back. I'm pretty sure eerie is spelled wrong, like centipede legs. Michael isn't here, you realize. The house is empty. You are alone.
How did you get back to the house? I don't know the map.
You have to go west from the vacant lot, south to the path, southwest to the overlook, southeast to the... no, southeast? Maybe. To the house. It's the place with the diagonals that always trips me up. Where are you right now?
I'm at the scenic view, and it's not southeast.
Is it northeast? I should be able to see by scrolling up.
It's
It
really
is
weird.
northwest.
Really weird.
Northwest.
I remember the map pretty well, but I remember it almost completely inverted. So
Hang on, I was just there. I'll scroll up. I think it's northwest from the scenic view.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, after I get in, I'm going to lock the door because Michael is not home, but I don't want anyone else to get into the house. Oh, a thought occurs to you. What if Michael comes back and can't get in the house? You'd better leave it unlocked for him.
enforcing the creepy scene.
We don't know for sure that he's not in the house. Maybe he just couldn't hear us because he was wrapped up in writing his paper.
Maybe he fell asleep while writing his paper.
Yeah.
Very light sleep.
Let's go up to where he was, I think. East from the upstairs landing. It's pitch dark. Turn on... Couldn't see any such thing. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay.
We just leave the lamp on forever.
East. Okay. Up, east, north, east gets you into the study where Michael wouldn't let you stay earlier because he was too busy, but now you can get in. And it says, this smaller room adjoining the library seems comfortable enough, although it is dusty and cluttered from having not been lived in for the better part of a year. Aside from the desk and the chair and the empty shelves, the only real feature of the room is the large ornate fireplace in the southern wall. A pair of beautiful mahogany sliding doors lead west to the library. Michael's laptop sits in the middle of the desk, humming quietly to itself. Also on the desk is a letter opener.
Page opener, yoink. And now let's invade our husband's privacy.
Yes.
Oh, there's passcode.
Where did you get to where you need a passcode?
Read the laptop.
Oh, read it. 4-digit user passcode.
Would that be the wedding date that you found on the ring, maybe?
That sounds like what it is.
Yes, really?
So,
Yeah.
June 28th.
0628.
You Americans and your back-to-front dates.
I can't stand it either, but apparently.
Oh yeah, it's 0628. The verb is type, by the way. Passcode window disappears and the screen suddenly fills with text. Apparently the last thing Michael was working on before he got up and left. Your score has just gone up by 2 points. Oh, man. Sam,
Okay.
do you got this journal entry?
Are you ready to endure my Texan accent?
Well, I have to leave for a moment, so I'm going to let you read while I'm gone.
Okay, I will skip the Texan accent. Michael has evidently been writing something, but it's not a story. It looks more like some kind of journal entry. I cannot sleep. Or perhaps I should say, I must not sleep, since I am perfectly capable of sleep. In fact, lately sleep has come to me more easily, more quickly, and more insidiously than it ever has before. But I don't want to sleep. I have been hoping that the terrible dreams would prove me stress relief, that they would fade once the move was behind us and we had finally settled in. But that has not turned out to be the case. They're stronger than ever. Red-rimmed eyes pursuing me through strange corridors. The voice, the whisperer who tells me I am who I am. The whisperer tells me secrets of this house, secrets of those who lived here. They are my blood, and he tells me he always returns to his gift. He tells me of secret keys and combinations. I don't know what they open yet, but I have an idea. Tomorrow, I must go down to the cellar. I must see if the things revealed to me in that terrible book are true. I know she is worried about me. I want to tell her, but the entry ends there, unfinished.
So everything's probably fine.
Yes. Everything seems to be okay.
There was actually a book in the library. Hang on. Upstairs. The complete manual of wards and seals, which might be what he's referring to.
We just yoink this? Okay, we can indeed yoink the complete manual of wards and seals. But we didn't. Be sure we read it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
But or whatever the other day was. But so I guess it just drops it back down again once we're done with it. Anyway, I'm gonna hang on.
Have we done anything?
We have read our husband's last journal entry. This being before the days of blogging, and he he does not refer to us by our name, which is ominous.
I don't think we've been referred to by our name yet.
We have not.
It's going to turn out that we are in fact Verlac Gentry. Verlacina Gentry.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that.
Nobody wanted to tell us because it was too scary. You did take the manual, and there was a fireplace in the thing, and I don't remember if I'm just genre savvy or if I remember that there's something going on with the fireplace. But it's carved from beautiful dark-veined marble, a strange shade that is not quite a deep forest green and not quite a murky, dusky red. That is a good description of a color. The mantelpiece is flanked by a pair of polished brass spheres, which we remember from the dream we had.
When we look at the spheres, you see the room behind you in distorted miniature, and your own face swelling and stretching comically as you peer into the sphere's reflective surface. Look closely, you notice some smudges on the otherwise immaculately polished brass.
Who's been polishing these spheres when everything else is covered in dust?
The sphere gnomes.
Whoa.
They're part of the Verlac Dark contract. They go around and polish all the brasswork.
Are sphere gnomes spherical themselves?
They should be.
Spherical,
that
but
is-
with little gnome hats.
They have an ideal body image of being spherical.
Oh, yeah.
Not all of them attain that perfection. It's kind of
Uh-huh.
a sensitive topic, and I'm kind of sad that you raised it.
Yeah, well, that is insensitive of you to be sad that I would raise it because I couldn't have known any better, and now you're impinging on my culture of ignorance.
In any
I
case,
try-
you're meant to tweak the sphere.
Did you use the verb tweak?
I used turn,
Yeah, I used turn.
and we tweaked them. Alas, no.
The sphere twists clockwise a few degrees. There is a barely audible click, and the sphere snaps back into its original position. Suddenly, the entire fireplace slides about 18 inches to the left with a hollow grinding sound, revealing a narrow corridor in the southwest wall. I want to say, if it were me writing this, I'd have the sphere twist counterclockwise, because that's a creepier direction. Yeah? I went southwest to a narrow corridor. The walls are bare wooden slats, patched with crumbling plaster and spiked with bent rusted nails. The passage, no more than 2 feet wide at its widest point, bends and twists at confusing angles, making it hard to tell which direction you're heading in.
You know, I really love what they've done with the place. Like, the whole bent rusted nails thing is very in this season.
So I could go west, and I go to the same location, except now there's a small hole in one of the slats about halfway up the wall. Look, in hole. Standing on tiptoe and placing your eye up to the hole, you see only darkness.
Well done.
Put flashlight. That can't contain things. So I'm moving around randomly in these corridors, and in some of them there are holes in the slats, and I can't look in them because it's dark on the other side.
Yeah, so wait until daytime?
I guess, yeah. Jeez.
Is there a way through this? This is obviously a maze of sorts, right?
I don't know if it's a maze or if it's a fake maze where going in any direction just leads you to where you would head otherwise. I could see either one happening. But I'm going to, right here, save, and I'm going to paste in the save info, and then we can go back, we can go to sleep, try it in the morning, and if it turns out we missed something, we'll have that place to go back to.
Did you escape?
Escape? What?
I mean, are we out of the maze?
I'm not out of the maze yet, but I assume it's possible to get out of the maze. Do we have the ball of thread?
Okay, we're just wandering around in the narrow corridor.
The way that ow.lee has you prove that you're a human is really cool. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this text. And
I managed to escape the narrow corridor, mostly by accident.
Yeah, I'm still bundling around inside it. Oh, I'm out. Clear.
Hey, I did it too. 'Cause
Did you just go in random directions or what?
I
Yep.
think I followed the because the last one I went was northwest, and that got me out of the into the study. So I think there is an actual map.
Yeah, I also my last exit was also northwest, which could just be a coincidence, but
Oh, yeah, I just went northwest twice and got back to the study.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense because the hole is to the southwest, so it should be northeast.
But
I'm
it's
going
a
northeast.
twisty maze of narrow passages.
Yeah, and you know, Lovecraft stuff. All the angles don't make any sense.
Yeah, I went southwest to get into the thing. I went northeast, which logically would have taken me right back into the study, but it took me into a different narrow corridor. I went southwest from there, and I was in a narrow corridor. I went northeast from there, northwest from there, and I couldn't go anywhere. I go northeast. I shouldn't have left. I should have stayed out while I could. Northeast, northwest, northwest. I think there must be some logic to that corridor maze, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's go to bed.
okay, bedtime.
It'll probably be a lot easier to work out the corridor maze in the daytime when we can see things through the holes.
That seems reasonable, yeah.
Oh, great. Sleep? Can I just sleep? Get in bed? Is it gonna make another bath? It's gonna make me take another bath.
You're pretty filthy. Yeah, okay.
I'm perfectly clean. I don't know what you're talking about.
X me. You are naked. You look good. You look good, and being naked doesn't hurt either. You're covered in grimy ash.
Huh. I guess you went south into across the train tracks and stuff? I never did that, and I am perfectly clean.
The ash. Yeah, the ash must be from the paper mill.
Yeah.
Take that. You get all nude and you take a bath, and it's the same text from taking a bath before.
So I just tried to take bath and it says, your hands are full.
These works fine, though.
Okay. Exit. Wear clothes. I'm not going to bed naked this time.
Oh, you don't have a choice about it, buddy.
Well, fine. Now I'm afraid to type sleep.
Yep.
Oh, you've left the back door unlocked. You stupid idiot.
It's still not letting me lock the door though.
The back door. That's
Oh,
in the
back. Okay. What's the point of locking one door?
I got to sleep.
Well, lucky you. Turn on. This is actually pretty effective. Oh, I can't see anything because it's dark. Turn on flashlight. Take.
Bed. Okay. Locked up. Left the front door unlocked for Michael when he comes home. Because this is the countryside.
Oh my gosh! Oh no! No. Up. South. Up. East. North. East. My flashlight is dropped somewhere in the halls.
Oh god. Everything ruined now.
Can someone save and give me a say? Oh wait, I have a save state. It's the one that I saved.
Okay, it's just copying from the bar, right?
No, I've got it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use the one where that I saved while we were in the halls, and I already have that. I already have that. Okay.
Okay, are we all to bed?
You go ahead without me. I'll catch up.
Okay, sleep. Go. You lie awake for what seems like hours, listening to the house creak and settle around you, and wondering where your husband is. You try to convince yourself that he merely went for a walk and lost track of time, as you so often want to do. In any case, with no telephone and no car, there is little you can do besides hope that he'll turn up in the morning. Your worried thoughts chasing themselves endlessly around your mind will eventually drift off into easy sleep. Down the road and through the woods, where the whippoorwills call their lunatic song, you are running. The sky boils and thunders overhead. The red-rimmed eyes glare down at you. When you look up at them, they merge together, melting into a single, baleful orb, a swollen, bloody moon. Because, emergency. Rough. You must escape. You veer off the road, tripping over an old rotten stump, pushing aside a twisted sapling. Vines and brambles tear at your clothes. Rocks cut your feet. Still you must run, until you suddenly burst out of the underbrush into a tangled, moonlit clearing. An ancient flagstone well stands amidst the weeds in the clearing's center, and you are drawn to it. Something is moving inside, scratching at the stones down in that circle of blackness. For some reason, all you can think is, the basement. Michael is in the basement, and he's doing something bad. Not hammering over the crumbling. Your hair slips from your shoulders, dangling tantalizingly close to the well's opening. The whippoorwills reach crescendo. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and you see the most horrible thing. The third day. It was his twin brother, but it looked more like the father than he did. H.P. Lovecraft. Wake up, shivering. Michael is in bed next to you, sleeping like a dead man, with the sheets wrapped in a twisted snarl around his body.
Good. Wonderful. Oh, I just examined Michael. He is sprawled across the bed with the sheets tangled around his legs, oblivious to the world. Usually Michael is a light sleeper. You've never seen him so thoroughly knocked out before. You notice something odd about Michael's feet. They are covered with dried mud.
Michael, you've been swanning off.
He doesn't have... He clearly doesn't have the same feelings we do about needing to take a bath before going to bed.
Yeah. And we now know that he is a barefoot running enthusiast.
Yes.
It's time.
Clean feet. Very carefully, you reach out to scrape some of the mud off, but Michael starts to wake up almost before you've even touched him. Michael comes awake with a jerk and a hoarse shout. For a moment or two he only stares about blindly, as if unsure of where he is and all but unaware of your presence. Then, with a grunt of surprise, he seems to come to his senses and painstakingly crawls out of bed. Michael gives you a bleary, irritated look. "Shouldn't you put some clothes on?" he mutters.
Okay, honeymoon's over. Over. Because, dang.
I asked him about me. He attempted a smile. I love you, hun. You know that. I'm just not feeling myself today, that's all.
I just can't stand the sight of your naked body.
I asked him about him. He said, What? Michael grunts. What do you want to know? I'm fine. Just a headache is all. He wanders off to the west, looking around aimlessly, as though searching for something without even knowing what it is that is lost.
A shiver runs up your back for no apparent reason. Turning, you realize that Michael has been staring at you. He looks away, his expression unreadable.
How did you get that?
I think it's just an atmospheric message that comes at the end of a turn. There's another one that said, Michael walks a few steps across the room and then stops as if he had forgotten what he had gone there to do. Michael wanders off to the south with a furtive, suspicious glance in your direction.
Okay, now Michael is wandering around creepily like a decaffeinated caveman.
Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. Take all. A bunch of stuff was left in the bathroom.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
The stuff that was in your hands, probably. Jeez.
I think it was everything you had on you when you took the bath.
Everything that wasn't in the pockets, yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah. So are we gonna look in those holes now? Spooky holes.
Yes, let's go and do some holes.
Okay.
Oh, just double check. You may have to grab things a few times because if you try to just take everything, if your hands are still full, leave a bunch there.
Let's see. You should be able to take things if you're wearing the trench coat because it'll shove things into the pockets to make room.
Uh-oh. Suddenly you hear a deep grinding noise that seems to vibrate up through the floor from beneath the house. A moment later, there's a terrible wailing howl, as of some subterranean wind shrieking through unlit passages. How does it sound different when it's in an unlit passage? Anyway, then the grinding again, and all is silent. Timidly, you call out Michael's name. There is no answer. You are alone in the house.
Okay. I am in a separate situation because I got into the corridor, I looked in the hole. Standing on tiptoe and placing your eye up to the hole, you see the children's bedroom. Through some strange trick of the angle, you appear to be looking straight down at the bed from the middle of the ceiling. Suddenly, Michael walks into the bedroom. He moves slowly, looking around and lightly touching things as if visiting old memories. He walks over to the crib and spends some minutes staring down into its empty blankets, after which he sighs. Then he turns and adjusts the coverlet on the child's bed. He walks over to the vanity and brushes his hand across it, as if he expected to find something there. Oh, we took that thing. He frowns, makes a small noise of frustration, and walks out of the room.
There's so much trust in this marriage. Eating the trust. Now, there's also a hole that appears to be through the eyes of the man in the portrait hanging over the fireplace.
Hey! Yeah, I've got that one too. Oh, were you going to read it?
No, it's not very special. Very special. I'm just trying to see if I can find anything else now that we know this.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I looked through the hole with the through the eyes of the portrait, at that moment, Michael wanders into the sitting room, muttering something incoherent. He looks around blankly, lost, as if he had come into the room in order to do something, only in the next instant to forget what it was. Then his eyes fall on you, and he smiles. You nearly jerk away from the spy hole, heart pounding wildly, when it suddenly occurs to you that he's not looking at you at all. He's looking at the portrait through which you are peering. Michael regards the portrait with a strange air of familiarity. He gazes into its eyes, and also, unbeknownst to him, your own eyes, the way one might appraise an old friend one hasn't seen for some time. His expression is deferential, admiring, and something else you can't quite put your finger on at first. But as your husband continues to gaze rhapsodically at the terrible portrait, the sickening realization strikes you. The expression is vanity. Ugly, self-absorbed vanity. Your husband is staring at this portrait the way he might preen himself in a mirror. Michael brushes his fingers back through his hair and walks out of the room, chuckling softly to himself.
Well then. Everything just fine.
Oh, I got a horrible wailing subterranean wind now, though.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we can do anything else in the creepy passages. Seems to me like
it seems odd to have only two holes to look through, because usually there are 3 of these things, but I can't find any more.
There are 3. There's one that goes into the child's bedroom, there's one into the cellar, and one through the eyes of the portrait.
okay.
Did you see in the cellar?
The one that looks through into the cellar is the one that Sam read out about the grinding noise and the wild, wretched keening.
Oh. I got that while I was still in the room with the hole that went into the child's bedroom. Odd. There's also a hole that I can look in. I see only darkness. So, neat. Okay. I escaped the corridors and I'm in the study. And I think we're supposed to go to the basement now. Huh. Okay. Puzzle. In the wine cellar, there are 5 bottles in the 3rd row from the bottom of the wine rack that have been handled recently. The finger marks are clearly outlined on their dusty labels. One label is partially torn, and the other is all but faded completely. But at a quick glance, you count a Pinot Noir, a Cabernet Sauvignon, and a Cheval Blanc. So, which do you mean? I try to examine the label. Which do you mean? The wine bottles? the robust Pinot Noir, the light Cheval Blanc, the vintage Cabernet Sauvignon, the bottle with the torn label, the bottle with the faded label, or the flask?
Hey, I was still stumbling about in the narrow corridors, and I stumbled across an observatory.
Holy!
You are in a small and closed cupola situated, by the look of the view through the dingy skylight over your head, on top of the roof of the house. The walls are covered with astrological and astronomical charts with equations and diagrams scribbled across them in crabbed, stilted handwriting. The only exit seems to be an oddly angled corridor to the southeast. Dominating the center of the room is a large mounted telescope pointed almost straight up through the skylight.
Well, dang. Did you use any particular method to get to that, or was it just random about?
I'm trying to work this out because I've been half mapping, but I got a bit lost. I think
there are determined exits in the corridor. I think those are actual rooms that are just weird directions from each other.
Yeah. I was in the narrow corridor where you can look through to the child's bedroom, and then I went northwest, and then I went southeast. X telescope. Constructed of some greenish metal, the telescope consists in the main of an unadorned cylinder about 8 inches in diameter, with an eyepiece near the bottom. Near the top, about 6 inches down from the telescope's upper end, is a thin rectangular slot cut horizontally into the side of the cylinder.
Do we have a thing that goes into a rectangular slot?
I haven't tried this yet, but I'm betting it's the disc.
The creepy disc?
Remember it said something about it looking like a lens?
But it's circular.
Which is what a lens... Oh yeah, you'd have a rectangular slot to put a circular thing into.
That's
if you look into
unthinkable
the
and
telescope
gross.
If you look into the telescope without putting anything in the slot, the swirling hole in the sky fills the telescope's field of view, turning silently as you watch. The upper depths of the maelstrom are too dark to see, though occasionally you make out sparks of green energy as they arc across the gap. Put disc in slot. The strange black disc drops neatly into the slot. See, Ryan?
That's gross. This is obviously a Cthulhu slot.
Look into telescope. For a few moments, all you can see is a murky, swirling blackness. Then patterns of colours begin to emerge, like the rainbow sheen of oil on water. The black disc grows translucent. Stars become visible through the swirling haze, and then, dear Christ, you can see it. The comet, roaring silently through the endless void, streaking toward Earth, and it's alive. This thing that is coming is alive. Tendrils that must be hundreds, thousands of miles long, streaming before it, reaching out to grasp and strangle and devour whole worlds. And it is coming here, it is coming to Earth, and its great lidless red-rimmed eye rolls over in a vast lake of vitreous fluid, and it looks at you. You wake up sometime later, shaking your head. You're not sure what exactly you just witnessed. whether it was a genuine astronomical phenomenon or a hallucination, or the actual form of some dark god from the outer reaches come to devour the world. You're not even entirely sure you remember what it looked like. The only thing you can clearly recall is a single name, pulsing in your brain like a bruise, Ialda Bealoth. And that's all.
Which I
Your
believe
score
is
has
Hebrew
just gone
for
up by
space
5
fish.
points.
I believe Ialdabaoth is Hebrew for space jellyfish. So,
I'm still lost in the corridor. Can you give me those directions to get in there again?
Which corridor are you in?
Okay. Look. Come on. Look and hold. I'm in the one where you can see darkness.
Is
Now
that
I'm
the
in the one where
cellar?
you can see the portrait. Okay.
Okay, so from there you should be able to go southeast, then west,
Okay.
then northeast,
yeah.
then southeast.
Uh-huh.
And if I mapped this right, you should end up in the observatory.
No, we're back in the portrait.
Bother.
Damn you, Balak!
Oh, I got there.
Well,
I got there.
I can't
okay.
get back to the narrow corridors from the observatory as far as I can tell, so you're going to have to figure this one out yourself.
Well, we have to remember Ialda Bealoth, though, because we're going to have to say that when there's a secret thing.
You missed some shit, I can tell you. I believe the technical term of that is definitely some shit.
I'm going to paste in. Well, wait. Amish, can you hear us yet?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, okay. I'm going to paste in the text, although we'll lose some of the formatting. Okay. We looked through the telescope, this telescope that there is in the house, by putting the lens in a slot. And then we looked through the telescope and we saw the horrors from beyond. And when I went southeast from the place, observatory, I ended up in the crawl space in the attic. So I can just go into the attic and I can do it all.
Can I?
Do what?
Also, the charts. Most of the charts in the observatory seem to be plotting the trajectory of some comet you've never heard of, that it gradually approaches the solar system over the course of several centuries. According to this, the comet is due to arrive. Well, that's interesting. According to this, the comet is coming tonight.
Well, swell.
Who would have thunk it?
So if we go to the Emily, have you been able to escape the corridors yet?
Yeah, I was in the observatory the whole time.
The observatory
Yes.
doesn't lead back to the corridors.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. You
Go
go
south.
southeast from the observatory and end up in a crawl space. As you make your way down the corridor, you begin to get dizzy, then nauseous. Lines seem to cross without bending, the ceiling becomes the walls, and the floor becomes the ceiling. Half blind, unsure even of which direction you are going in, you stagger forward and suddenly find yourself in a crawl space. The ceiling descends here to no more than 3 feet from the floor. You are forced to crawl through the cramped darkness on your hands and knees. To the east, the attic becomes more spacious, while the northwest corner opens into an oddly angled corridor.
While we're in the attic...
And if you go east, then you're in the attic. Then you go down, and you're in... Yeah?
Hold up. While we're in the attic, we now have a letter open.
Hey!
It's time for the classics!
Wait, what are we going to put under the thing? Under the door?
We have... newspaper?
Do we have the... We have the newspaper! Oh... Well, this is a treat indeed. Put newspaper under door?
Yeah.
Okay. You slide the newspaper under the door, leaving only an inch or two sticking out on your side.
Put letter opener in keyhole. The tip of the letter opener bumps against something and you hear something thump onto the newspaper on the other side of the door.
Take newspaper. Something metallic falls off the newspaper as you pull it out from under the door. Undo.
No, don't undo. You want it. It's on this side.
Oh, it's on this side now? Okay.
Yep.
That
If you
sounds-
look, you
that-
can also see an old-fashioned brass key here. It's an old key, the kind with a round barrel about a 1/4 inch in diameter and flat, square teeth. Your score has just gone up by 1 point.
So I'm going to unlock door with brass key. It unlocks. Open door. You open the door. North. Attic cell. A cramped little annex off the main attic with a tiny shuttered window high up on the north wall. A pile of moldering straw in the corner and what looks like pencil marks on the lower part of the walls seem to indicate that someone lived here once, or possibly was kept here.
X pencil marks. They look like a child's drawings made with pencil or some kind of charcoal. Most of them are smudged and faded, but you can make out stick figures here and there and the occasional lollipop-shaped tree.
Oh, search the filthy straw. You gingerly poke through the filthy straw, barely able to suppress your disgust. However, your search is not unrewarded. Underneath the thickest part of the file, you discover some poo. Sorry. You discover a tiny gold block. Inside the locket, from the quality of the photograph, you'd say the picture must have been taken sometime in the 50s. The woman looks no more than 20 years old. Her pale, fragile face is framed by straight, dark, mousy hair, and she seems to stare plaintively out at you, her expression one of haunted resignation.
Oh. The thing is, the door was locked from this side. Guys. So shouldn't there be another way out? The window is painted shut.
All the windows are painted shut. Yeah.
And you needn't worry about the walls.
How does this one work? I'm sure there is a diary page somewhere that explains everything.
Probably. Well, we got a locket. And I think it's safe to say that this was a room where poor, hideous William was kept, with nothing but his lollipop trees and the picture of his mother to keep him company.
And the filthy straw.
And some straw.
Yes, some filthy straw for entertainment.
You guys clearly have never tried to have filthy straw keep you company because it's really boring.
I did grow up on a farm, you know.
So you know filthy straw.
I tend to assume that your farm was immaculate.
I had hours of entertainment with filthy straw.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are full of surprises.
How much straw was there? Because
Probably not multiple bales.
no, but I mean, if you're after another entrance to the room, could there maybe be a trapdoor under it or something?
Oh, I think I tried to move straw and that didn't do anything.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's not a bad idea, but it doesn't.
What about push straw?
You do have a broom.
Oh, hey, clean straw. It doesn't get much cleaner.
It's still filthy, in other words.
Yeah, we've got nothing.
Okay, it seems like we've accomplished all we can accomplish here.
Yeah. In another context, I might think that the incongruity of a room being locked from the inside and this amount of straw that isn't enough to keep, you would need more straw if a child being kept in here. But I think I would assume in that case that this was a setup meant to make us think that someone was being held here. But actually, I think I'm overthinking it, and we should go down to the basement.
Okay.
Because I was in the basement, and I saw these wine bottles, and I was looking at these bottles, and if you look at the Cheval Blanc, it says it's a light Cheval Blanc from 1886. There is a raised letter M stamped into the bottom of the bottle. And the Pinot Noir is from 1651, and it has a letter W. And the cab has an H. And the faded label that is probably a Merlot has this letter C, and the torn label has a letter E. So here we have a bunch of letters, and it looks like these are the bottles that Michael manipulated to cause horrible sounds to come up from this basement. And there's something you do with the bottles. Take, torn. You can't take it. Pull, torn.
Sorry, would you please repeat the letters? Was it M, W, H, C, E?
Yes.
And three of them are associated with dates.
Some of them have dates. The H is with 1734. The W is with 1651. The M is with 1886. The other two do not have dates. Oh, hey, you can turn them. I turned the bottle with the torn label rotates a quarter turn clockwise, not as creepy as counterclockwise, then snaps back with a loud click.
So you probably have to turn them in the right order, maybe?
Yeah. And the order, it said in the journal that it has to do with the pestilential procession of names. So we have to remember all the names of the Verlax and what order they came in. But E is the last one, because that's Edward. And Mordecai is right before him.
Wilhelm Verlac is in the 17th century,
Okay, he's probably the first.
and Heinrich, and it was rebuilt by the mill was rebuilt by Wilhelm's grandson Heinrich. So Wilhelm, then Heinrich, then Mordecai.
So does C come between Wilhelm and Heinrich?
I'm not sure where the C fits in.
Would it be his grandson, or would his son figure in it, or does it skip a generation?
I know the answer to that, but it will be spoilery.
Well, I don't know the answer to that, and okay, I'm gonna try.
Figured out what order to.
I tried WHCME. Nothing happened.
Try putting the C between the W and the H, maybe?
Okay. Turn W. Turn C.
I can't remember all the Verlacs that you discovered in previous sessions, but it looks to me like those are the initials of various Verlac men. Do you
Right.
need to put them in chronological order?
I think so. I have a print screen from when we were doing this the other day, looking people up in the records, and now I have to figure out which of these screenshots is the right one. Otherwise, we have to go back into town and solve the mystery. No, this is not correct. Okay. Edward died 1997. Mordecai died 1960. Wilhelm died 1734. Heinrich died 1802. Elijah died 1886. So it's WHEME. WHEME. WH. Why is there two E's?
Is Edward not in the sequence yet? Was this made before he was born?
Right, but might have been made before he was born. No, we don't know how. I forget how old he was when he died.
What are the E, shouldn't it?
A C? We do need the C. We can do this by process of elimination, though. Because we know that it's W... Wait, no, we don't. W, H, E, M, E. No, W, H, E, M. And we know the C is in there somewhere. So if it's...
Oh, I've got it.
What is it?
How did I do that? The C is first? Apparently the C is first.
Huh.
W-H-E-N. How did that work? No, yeah. It's before Edward.
Is Edward in there?
No.
Is it M-C-E?
No.
It's okay. It's before Elijah. No. It's first. Turn W. Turn E. Turn M. Hey, I got it. It is, in fact, CWHEM.
So we do not know who this C is, right?
I think we probably do, or did.
I don't see it in the clippings anywhere.
It's not? Okay. Well, if it's not in the clippings, I don't know where else it would be. Oh, wait. Wait, which one is... Okay, look up Wilhelm in... take album. He fled with Mother Eustacia Verlac during the witch burnings of 1653, returned to Anchorhead in 1663, elected mayor in 1690, built the mill in 1695. Doesn't say who his dad is. Oh, but the eyes are edged with the same raw madness that haunts the red-tinged gaze of the sitting room portrait. So I guess the portrait is of BC.
Oh, maybe you're meant to look at the portrait more closely then.
It doesn't. It says perhaps he was the founder of the Verlac family in this region, but it doesn't say who he is. And look up portrait in album. Doesn't work. Well, there's a passageway leading north. Do we want to try and venture into it, or have we been playing for 2 hours?
Oh, I got something. So
Okay.
Wilhelm's entry in the album fled with Mother Eustacia Verlac during the witch burnings of 1653. If you look up Eustacia, born to Croesus Verlac,
Okay.
gave birth to one son Wilhelm, fled Anchorhead during witch burnings, remained hiding in Aachen for 10 years, and returned to son in 1653. The woman in the portrait is strikingly beautiful, with jet black hair that hangs down past her shoulders like a shining velvet curtain. There is some resemblance to the thin, cruel features of her father, but not the who it claims to, who we apparently know about, but not the ragged, red-tinged madness about the eyes. Eustacia's eyes are not red at all; they are cold and deep and very dark.
I think we just saw something.
Okay, Croesus Verlac, born the son of a provincial cabinet maker in the Hollental Valley circa 1590, fled Germany in 1620 to avoid charges of heresy, came to the New World in 1622 on the ship Dawn Maiden, bound to the town of Anchorhead in 1624, began construction of the Verlac estate in 1625, signed the non-aggression pact with Chief Chuaquaquat of the Misquat tribe in 1631. The picture is a full-page black and white reproduction of the portrait hanging in the sitting room. Underneath it, someone has scribbled in pencil, "His is our blood. He always returns to his blood."
So, it doesn't say this explicitly anywhere, but Eustacia is the mother of Wilhelm, and Eustacia was born to Croesus.
Yeah.
And I think that makes Wilhelm or Eustacia both Wilhelm's mother and his sister. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. That's how I was reading it too.
All right. Neat. So, I don't know, you guys. I feel like there's a lot to do in that cave, and I feel like this is a good cliffhanger to wait for next time.
Okay, it's kind of late where you are, so you want to call it?
I'm gonna call it.
Okay.
So, good job. Thumbs up. Give me
It's been a
thumbs up
pleasure.
back. Everyone gives me a thumbs up back. Okay. Thanks. And I'll see you later.
Night night.
Night.